Hello plebs, and welcome to Dead by Discussion, where we discuss all things Dead by Daylight. Okay, so the Stranger Things DLC is dropped, and rather than going over everything on it, I made one of these where I didn't like it that much. I wanted to just talk about the Demogorgon. Like that's what I want to talk about. Yeah, Inner Strength's an annoying perk, but you know, I don't know if I've blew it out of proportion or not. I don't know. I want to purely just focus on the Demogorgon. Inner Strength's a subject that I might do another Dead by discussion on later if the perk becomes a problem, which it's not a problem yet. But we'll see. We'll see if it becomes a problem down the line. I still think it can. 72 saving all the time that you get from self-care, I think, has potential, and the totem should be cleansed anyway. That's all I want to say about that for right now, though. I do want to focus on the Demogorgon. Okay, so back to what I said about this character in my first impressions video. I said that this character looked basic and easy to kite because his power was basic. So like going lunging forward at the guy. Well, the way the devs were describing that on the live stream made it look like the most basic thing in the game. So let's talk about that that initial analysis and how it's held up now that we have the character. So first, let's go over his abilities. So the opening play with this character definitely is to go and somehow protect Ruin with one of your first portal. I think. Maybe place a portal as soon as the match starts. That might be a play depending on where you are. But like, I think you don't want to make it too obvious that Ruin's right next to it. But because you could potentially draw attention to Ruin with how big these portals are. They're not inconspicuous. So that's something. But in the general vicinity of Ruin, you do want to like somehow get over there and put a portal down near Ruin. And then you want to make sure you turn it on as fast as possible to make sure you can actually track people, because this character gets in R-type tracking via his power. Let's talk about the benefits of his power. What I think when you're talking about powers that have to do with tracking, the standard that they get compared to is the Doctor. And I'm gonna go ahead and just fucking say it, people. I think his tracking is better than Doctor's. I think Doctor can never lose a survivor. But Doctor sacrifices that for fucking no map pressure. The only time a Doctor can have pressure and map control is when somebody's trying to cure their madness, which he has to really work for. Demogorgon, his map pressure is, I'm gonna put down this portal right here, it's gonna take a whopping 2 seconds, and then guess what? I'm just gonna fucking have the map pressure once I go through it, and then I can just turn on my power, and see you if you're near my portal. Which isolates a big chunk of the map from where you're actually safe from, and you can get so much information. He has an in-art type way to just say, boom, I can know where you are, whenever I want to, provided you're nearest stuff. Which, like, he should be putting them near key points on the map that survivors are going to go near anyway. So this character has very good tracking. A Doctor can see you more often, but he can see you at key points, which I think can be important. I think it's better than Doctor's just because of how easier it is to set up. I think he can reach his maximum potential quicker than Doctor can, and I think the speed of it, snap, 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 is what makes it better than Doctor's. Not that he can see more than Doctor, because I don't think he can. I think Doctor max setup can see more and know where to go next more than this character can. But the fact that this character is going to see his ability to track, see his maximum potential more often, and it's faster, I think is going to be better than Doctor in the long run when it comes to actually being able to reliably find people. Okay, so that's what I have to say about his tracking. His teleportation. His teleportation is more limited than Freddy Krueger's, because Freddy can go, well, okay. Well, it's not that it's more limited, it's just that he has to go to specific places to set it up. Hag, they have to trigger a trap, which is easy when you know how to do it right. Freddy can do it anytime he wants, but he has to go to specific points. This can lead to the character struggling if he kind of misplaces a portal and he doesn't have the map control that he should, but that adds to the complexity of the character. I think Demogorgon's a complex character, and which we've been asking for more of. I think we're not just gonna know how to play this character tomorrow. I think we're gonna have to take some time to learn him and figure out where the maximum potential are for these portals and where we should be putting them. And that's what I like about him. This is a character we're gonna have to sit down and work with. So his teleportation, I think, it's good. It's not as efficient, but it doesn't have to be, because teleportation itself is an efficient concept. So the fact that he has it means that killers, he outclasses some killers with map control and map pressure, because he has the concept. It doesn't have to be that great or compare well to the others, but just the fact that he has it puts him higher on the tier list than a lot of other killers, because he can get around the map faster. Traversing. And so, like, he has the mechanic. It doesn't matter if he's the worst one at using it. He can use it. And that's better than everybody that can't use it. So that's what I gotta say about his teleportation. So I talked about his tracking, talked about his teleporting. I think we have to now talk about the lunge. Okay, so first of all, when we're discussing the lunge, the first thing we have to talk about is the hitbox of the lunge. This is the first thing that is noticeable to anybody that's just picking up the character that's trying to use the lunge. When you're trying to use the lunge, it's gonna at first feel very restrictive and very, like, small, because the hitbox is small and your movements with it are quite restricted. That's the first thing you're gonna notice about it. So if you just spam the lunge all the time, you're gonna think it's trash. Anybody that thinks the Demogorgon's lunge is trash is spamming it, because it's not spammable. That's the thing about it. It is not spammable. If you try to spam it, you're going to get crushed, because you're going to get easily read. But let's talk about what his lunge offers now, because the only thing that's bad about his lunge, there's two things bad about the lunge. You're restricted in your movement. You can't turn. And it has a small hitbox. Let's talk about everything good about this lunge now. First of all, you'll see it coming up soon. This lunge does have potential in loop chases. And you'll start to see that soon. This lunge has potential in loop chases solely because of how fast it is. This power has no startup gauge that you have to charge, like a Billy chainsaw or a chainsaw pig lunge. That's something else. That's something that this is going to get compared to a pig lunge. Pig lunge has a startup bar right at the bottom where you have to hold the button for a certain amount of time. I mean, you can charge it up a little bit, but like the fact is, you hit Channel Abyss and then you can quickly go into the lunge. There is no startup bar, and that offers him something that no other killer in this game has. The ability to get from point A to point B. He can go from point A to point B faster than any other killer in this game. If he has to quickly get somewhere, he can go point A, point B, boom, I'm right there. Nurse has to charge a blink. Everyone else, they have to charge their power. He doesn't have to do that. But, like, that's okay because his power is restricted, so it's balanced. He doesn't have the maneuverability that the pig has, or the game-breaking things of going really fast like Billy. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, he goes very fast, but it's not unlimited. Billy can turn and potentially move around the whole map. So, what we have here is a power that offers no charge bar, no cooldown, ability to get to point A to point B as fast as fucking possible. Which means if there's like a bigger loop that requires more straight, like things like I think God Loop at one of the Macmillan maps, sometimes each points of the Killer Shack, he can lunge at you and negate those loops quickly, because he doesn't have to respect the distance between you and him. He doesn't have to respect that. You do, as the survivor. You have to respect his options. If you commit, if you're trying to loop him at the Killer Shack and you're going straight toward the window, he can either do the moonwalk or come at you and try to lunge at you. So, okay, here's the loop. Here's the loop we're going to talk about here. We see this person. Yes, this loop in here is garbage and not safe. I understand that. But that's not the point of what we're seeing here. The lunge goes much further, and yes, I do miss because I'm learning still. But this lunge goes much further than this loop. Yes, this loop is not safe, and yes, I could have devoured Hoaxer, but the point of this exchange is to illustrate the potential that this has. They can be locked in an animation that you read, and then boom, you shoot at them, and they don't have enough time being locked in that pallet animation to avoid the hit. And this has potential to be used at loops bigger than that one, as you see in a minute when I attack the Claudette with it, at a loop that's bigger. It's not going to work for every loop, but it shouldn't. That's character balancing. And like, you don't have to run every loop. If you know you're at a loop where the lunge doesn't work, break the pallet. You don't have to try to run shit. And so I think this is going to, again, it has the potential to force the survivors off loops, which is absolutely incredible. So I think, so it offers the ability to go point A, point B super fast. It has potential for loop chases, which is what we want in a power. How do we close down the chase? Boom! Probably could have gotten there then, but he can actually do it. And then, let's talk about the best thing about his power, that the devs didn't even fucking go over in the live stream. The fact that it has no charge bar means that canceling it is not a commitment. It can basically be canceled by releasing the button. Check it out. Power, no power. You can cancel it into a basic attack. Basically, when you are roaring at the survivor, they have to guess whether you're going to cancel it or lunge at them. And that puts you, the killer, in control of the mind games at all times. There's only 2 other killers in this game that have full control over their mind games at all times. And guess who they are? Nurse and Spirit. And guess where they are on the tier list? Number 1 and number 2. Top tier archetype. He has top tier archetypes. Basically, why? Because like, when you are charging your power, they have to guess, is he going to shoot at me? Do I have to juke now? And then that can bait out a mistake. Cancel power, M1. Basic attack. It puts you, the killer, in control of the mind games when you're at a certain distance. That's anti-360 tech. No killer in this game has anti-360 tech. Because when you're coming up behind a survivor as anybody else, or that's not Spirit or a Nurse, they have full control of the mind game. Like, haha, you know, it's like lunge. Like, what do you do? As Demogorgon, you just have an insurance policy. Start your lunge attack. Make them guess if you're going to do it or not. If they as soon as they mess up, as soon as you see something that can be punished with the lunge or the basic attack, you commit to the option. Boom! They're down! They didn't even talk about that cancel. They didn't even talk about the cancel in the live stream. If they talked about the cancel in the live stream, we would have all known this character was going to be good. But like, it just seemed like a worse pig lunge when they were going over it in the fucking live stream. But the best thing about this power is you don't have to use it. You don't have to commit to it. No commitment, no commitment, no strings attached. It's no strings attached. That's the best thing about the power. It's not a commitment. So this character has a lot of potential. And I think it's interesting to see where he's going to go because all the positive things that are in his kit. They did a very good job with this character. A very, very good job so far.